This is a report on the Emperor of Mankind's most secret and formidable weapon. It was named the ORDO SINISTER, a macro weapon of terrifying power and nature. However, the use of this power is forbidden under penalty of death to anyone in the Imperium, be it a Primarch or a planetary governor. Only the will of the Emperor himself can awaken the nightmares of the ORDO SINISTER. The very name indicates the forbidden nature of this technology, Sinistrum. For a long time, this word signified a tyrannical, techno-magical definition of forbidden technologies designed for artificial enhancement or as psi-weapons, usually at the cost of the body or mind of a psyker. Well then, fools wondered why the Dark Age of technology ended with the fall of humanity. Other fools answered because of recklessness, pride, or worship of progress, as if these concepts have meaning in themselves. For the wise, the answer is simple.
It happened because humanity finally received its mandate, the knowledge to bring its dreams to life. And in the universe, there is nothing darker than the dreams of men. It happened because humanity finally received its mandate, the knowledge to bring its dreams to life. And in the universe, there is nothing darker than the dreams of men. Conquering space presented humanity with seemingly insurmountable obstacles, wars against forces and horrors unimaginable to the human mind and resilience. To succeed, humans had to be inventive beyond comprehension. One such dark invention, an experiment in perhaps long-forbidden weaponry, not created by the Archimandrite of the Mechanicum or the Strategos Magister, but by the hand of the Emperor himself, led to the creation of the ORDO SINISTER. Little is known about such a secretive and even forbidden weapon of the Imperium. The surviving data suggests that the ORDO SINISTER was created as a result of the Emperor's great work in controlling and managing the psyker factor in human evolution, or as a direct attempt to develop esoteric weaponry on a large scale to combat certain threats whose conventional elimination would require an exorbitant price. These threats, such as the Alpha-level Enslaver incursion, the Rangdan xenocides, or the Hellsponian void forms, have in the past led to the deaths of millions of soldiers and the destruction of thousands of starships, annihilating entire expeditionary fleets and legions of Titans. And the Imperium could oppose nothing to them but the Exterminatus. It is unknown how long the Ordo existed in the Emperor's shadow, but it first became known in the year 967 of the 30th millennium, when the Emperor issued a decree of requisition demanding the transfer to the Imperial arsenals for an indefinite period of 25 fully operational Warlord-class battle Titans. This demand caused an extremely ambiguous reaction among the Mechanicum. Some saw it as the will of the Omnissiah, others as the whims of a tyrant. But after a meeting between the Fabricator General and the Emperor, this incredible demand was nonetheless met. After this event, dubbed a sacrifice by the followers of the cult Mechanicus, nothing happened for several years. Despite their size and power, the god machines disappeared without a trace on Terra. 25 of the most powerful machines ever created by mankind simply vanished until an incident occurred in the Skagen system. Skagen 6 was an unremarkable inhabited world on the southern border of the Mesolar segment. Brought into compliance relatively bloodlessly by the 4th Legion in 860, but after 80 years, political instability had grown, leading to an impending revolt and the threat of a full-scale civil war by 946. Then, the local Lord Arbitrator requested help from the sector's High Lords, reporting that the planet had become a powder keg eaten away by factions, ready to explode at any moment. The response to the Lord Arbitrator was unexpected. A flotilla, including a single Titan carrier with no identifying marks, arrived from Terra itself. The escort consisted of cruisers of the Solar Auxilia and, most incredibly, an augur frigate in the crimson and gold colors of the Imperial Court Squadron. A transport vessel flew from the nameless Titan carrier and landed near the capital's Cosmoport. Its cargo was a single Titan in dark green-black paint with the emblem of a silver lion's head. Its heraldry lacked symbols or signs, but there was what was taken for the Titan's heraldic name, Polaris Albedella. But within a few days, this oddly sounding name was changed by the natives of Skagen 6 to something more fitting. They called it the King of Terror, after a card from the Psyker Tarot, for where the god machine walked, fear accompanied it. Of course, Such terrible colossi of destruction inspired awe in all who beheld their martial splendor, even seasoned soldiers. But the fear instilled by this monstrous visitor was something else. Terror oozed from the Titan like miasmas, chilling veins and stilling hearts. In unprovoked panic, people fled from it, while others in humble terror prostrate, as the Titan paraded through the city's vast arterial roads, never once firing its colossal weapons nor emitting a single sound of rage from its battle sirens. Where it tread, the world stood still. And where its shadow passed over the horizon, both the righteous and the guilty awoke in blood-chilling dreams of death and oblivion. Potential revolutionaries fell silent, rebels discarded their weapons and fled to remote areas. Accusations and grievances quieted. The King of Terror brought Skagen 6 to its knees without a single shot fired. The Ordo Sinister's second appearance on the battlefield was a far bloodier and more horrific event, part of the protracted conflicts known as the Defense of Helioret. From the early 90s of the 30th millennium, the Helioret sector suffered escalating attacks from Eldar corsairs based on their semi-ruined craft world. Among all Eldar encountered before, these beings were mad and twisted, not recovered from the fall of their ancient dominion, driven by grief and a searing hatred for other races. They assaulted the worlds of Helioret with merciless velocity, burning planet after planet. They released strange artificial diseases that fused flesh into bloody crystals. They destroyed moons and orbital stations to crash their debris onto worlds. The Imperium's response to the attack soon escalated, providing several dozen regiments of the Imperial Auxilia supported by the Demi-Legio of Titans. Yet even such forces were only enough to hold positions. The total loss of key worlds was prevented only by the entry of a full third of the Blood Angels Legion, led by Primarch Sanguinius. But even these apocalyptic forces could not immediately achieve victory, instead driving the Eldar back to the surface of their unfathomable craft world. The angelic Primarch gathered his forces for a massive strike against the Xenos, but the Imperial troops encountered an army of the dead, thousands of ghostly combat constructs, ranging from swift assassins to massive warriors and even titans, animated and driven by the vengeful souls of a world populated by phantoms. Reality shuddered as the air tore apart from the weaponry of those awakened from their deadly slumber. From the depths of ancient crypts, dozens of Eldar Titans arose, led by a warlock-type battle machine filled with the souls of fallen seers and prophets of the craft world. The Imperium had faced this Titan before and named it the Witch Idol. And where it stepped, the Imperials had yet to achieve victory. Confronted with such concentrated force, the Imperial assault initially stumbled, then faltered. The Titans of the Imperium deployed in the second wave were quickly torn apart by the Witch Idol and its kin. Yet it is said that Angel Sanguinius personally destroyed one of them, decapitating it with his bare hands and bringing it down before being struck by a powerful blow from a Psyker warlock, a blow no other could have survived. Then 3 Titans of the Ordo Sinister landed on the surface, and with their stride, the very fabric of the craft world shuddered as if in disgust. As expected from combat Titans, missile volleys and scorching beams from turbo lasers struck from their armored weapon systems. But from the bizarre, strange weaponry serving as their left arms, silent darkness erupted. These discharges of black nothingness pierced through ranks of ghostly constructs, devouring each they touched. Following their demise, dozens of other phantoms simply fell, like puppets with cut strings, never to rise again. Only Xenos fueled by powerful sorceress forces could resist this wave of death. Wailing a deafening chorus of rage and sorrow, the Eldar Titans turned to face the new giants and opened fire with pulse lasers, while the Witch Idol summoned a storm of horrific warp lightning. The gleaming wave of destruction suddenly met with the pristine flame emitted by the god machines of the Ordo Sinister. And scattered, the backlash of 2 opposing forces shook the craft world like an earthquake, toppling Space Marines and ghostly guardians alike. Imperial force clashed with Imperial might, and to every witness of this clash of titans it was clear, the god machines of the Ordo Sinister were Psi-Titans. It was a true battle of gods, and the recovered Primarch Sanguinius was wise enough to withdraw his legion's warriors, giving the Titans room to fight. The Titans battled for 3 standard hours, wielding destructive powers on a scale sufficient to annihilate a dozen cities. Pulsed lasers cut through the warlord's meter-thick ceramite armor, only for it to melt and reform. Although even such occult protection could not protect against the fatal blow of the giant Eldar power blade, which plunged deep into the reactor heart of one of the Titans of the Ordo Sinister. The ghostly galactic fields shimmered and trembled as the Eldar Titans danced the dance of death at impossible speeds for their size, and volleys of screeching missiles found only empty air. But even such superiority in speed and the ability to disorient the enemy could not stop the devastating darkness of the Ordo Sinister's primary weapon. Slowly but inexorably, for the Eldar Titans, their numbers dwindled until only one witch idol remained, surrounded by 2 warlords. The battle concluded when one of the PSI-TITANS grasped the witch idol by its shattered shoulder, holding it in place while its dark companion decapitated the Eldar Titan. With the demise of the witch idol, it was as though the soul of the entire Eldar craft world had perished. Lights flickered and went out, systems failed, and agony began. The PSI-TITANS of the Ordo Sinister did not wait for the final cleansing. Instead, collecting the remains of their fallen comrade, they silently left the battlefield. The final slaughter was brief, and the last act of the defensive Heliorette was to direct the shattered craft world into the nearest star for ultimate destruction. The declaration about the Ordo Sinister's participation in the defensive Heliorette, contained in the combat chronicles of the Blood Angels, remains the most detailed and reliable account of the Secret Order's combat actions. There may exist a dozen such less reliable documents, each recording an encounter with some exceptionally powerful enemy, usually possessing vast psychic power, or conversely, as with 6, the pacification of a rebellious world through supernatural terror. Certain technologies used in the creation of the PSI-TITANS are well known. When the Horus Heresy erupted, a representative of the Ordo Sinister appeared before the Council of Terra to answer various questions about the Order. From this meeting, it was revealed that, according to special commands from the Master of Mankind, the Order was not included in the general preparation for the upcoming military actions. Instead, it remained as an element of Terra's last line of defense. Almost until the very end, or at least as stated in the official report, information conveyed to the Council of Terra confirmed that the god machines, rightly classified as the tyrannical model of Warlord Sinister PSI-TITANS, were modified based on a matrix designed by the Emperor himself, enhancing psychic potential and called the Cerebrum Crucis Anima. It controlled the Warlord Sinister instead of the standard Titan thought control unit, and instead of moderators who typically made up the crew of a line Titan, the damned were used. These were psychers, surgically bound to their places and subjected to the will of the preceptor intendant, who commanded the god machine instead of a princeps. Direct mental control, the force and spirit of the bound psychers were pumped and focused by the mysterious technologies of the Cerebrum Crucis Anima, a sinister device that made the PSI-TITAN what it was. Placed at the center of these energies, the preceptor intendant sat in a protected command throne in the Titan's head. But even this was not enough to fully shield from the psychic forces unleashed. Thus, each commander of an Ordo Sinister Titan was psychically blank, untouchable, but seemingly selected by different criteria than those serving in the ranks of the Sisters of Silence or the Custodes. Although no questions were asked about the recruitment and training of him and his fellows during the testimony to the prefect, he reported on the psychers bound in the Warlord Sinister as follows. For some, it was a punishment for their crimes. For others, a blessed release from torment. And this balance was maintained to create optimal conditions. Thanks to the use of Cerebrum Crucis Anima, the Warlord Sinister was capable of projecting psychic effects on a truly colossal scale. The most destructive application of psychic potential was focusing its energy through a unique weapon system, Sinistrum Manus Tenebrae. The shot appeared as a sphere or discharge of darkness, consuming light in any environment it passed through before striking solid matter. Its explosion resulted in total annihilation in the immediate impact zone, with everything therein disintegrating and being ejected into the warp molecule by molecule until the brief rift closed on its own. In a broader impact zone, living beings fell dead, their bodies left without marks, as if their souls had been ripped out. Since the Emperor commanded all PSI-TITANs to stand as the last defense of the Imperial Palace on Terra, their fate remains unknown. Whether they are sometimes deployed in ultra-secret operations, leaving no witnesses, or these daunting masters of terror grimly await their time. When someone bold enough to test the strength of Terra's final defense line appears, is a matter of speculation.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please support us with a like and subscribe. Your comments are our inspiration, so don't hesitate to share your thoughts and ideas for future episodes. Share this video with your comrades on social media so they can join our ranks too. Your suggestions and questions are incredibly important to us. Leave them below as we're always eager to engage in conversation.